If you're like most of us, there's this little gap, right, between the person you are right now and the person you really want to be. Maybe you want to hit the gym more, read more books, or just finally get that big project off the ground. So let's dive into why bridging that gap is so darn tough, and more importantly, how we can make it a whole lot easier.
Does this whole scenario sound familiar? You decide, okay, this is it. I'm going to make a change. You get all motivated. You start out super strong, maybe for a few days, maybe even a couple of weeks, and you feel amazing. But then, well, life happens. And before you know it, you're slipping right back into those same old comfortable patterns. It's just so frustrating. And honestly, with every single attempt that doesn't quite stick, it gets a little more discouraging. You start to blame yourself, thinking things like, ugh, I just don't have enough discipline, or I guess I lack willpower. It's this vicious cycle that can leave you feeling pretty annoyed with yourself. But what if I told you it's not really about willpower at all? I mean, the internet is just packed with this hustle culture advice that basically says if you fail, you just didn't want it badly enough. The reality, though, change is actually hard for a very specific biological reason. And understanding that reason, well, that's the key to finally making a breakthrough. To really get what's going on, we need to take a quick trip inside your head. So for a second, I want you to imagine that your brain isn't some supercomputer. Instead, picture it as a dense, wild jungle. Every single time you do something new, whether it's deciding to go for a run or trying out a new recipe, it's like you're hacking a brand new path through this super thick jungle with a machete. It's tough, it's slow, and it takes a ton of energy. And if there's one thing your brain absolutely hates, it's wasting energy. So your brain has this really clever trick. Every action you take leaves a little trail. The first time you do it, you're just kind of trampling down a few plants. But the second time you walk that exact same route, the trail is a little clearer, right? It's just a tiny bit easier to follow. So what happens over time? Well, if you do that same action hundreds, maybe even thousands of times, that little trail turns into a wide, paved, multi-lane highway. Your brain doesn't even have to think anymore. It just automatically takes the comfortable, super energy-efficient highway. This is exactly why your old habits are so incredibly powerful. So, who's driving on these mental highways anyway? To build new ones, we first have to meet the two characters who are running the show inside your head. I'd like you to meet the wise planner and the impulsive toddler. Okay, first up is the wise planner. This is that part of you that thinks ahead. It's slow, it's deliberate, it's analytical. It's the part that sets an alarm for 6:30 a.m. because it knows you gotta get to work. It follows a recipe because it wants a delicious dinner. Basically, the planner is in charge of any sequence of actions that's designed to achieve some future goal. And then there's the impulsive toddler. This part of your brain is the complete opposite. It's fast, it's automatic, and it lives entirely in the here and now. It couldn't care less about your future goals. It just responds to triggers in the environment that lead to a familiar, rewarding feeling. It's the toddler that makes you unlock your phone the second you see it, without even thinking about it. So, here's the difference in a nutshell. The planner is your conscious, goal-setting mind. It takes effort. The toddler is your autopilot, just running on triggers and rewards. It feels totally effortless. One of them is planning the whole jungle expedition. The other just wants to run down the biggest, easiest highway it can find.
Now, it might sound like this toddler is just there to sabotage you, but it's actually essential. We need the wise planner for complex stuff, like doing your taxes or trying to parallel park, but if it had to make every single decision all day long, you'd be completely exhausted. The toddler basically outsources all the repetitive stuff to save your mental energy for the big things. The real key is to get them working together for your new goals.
Okay, so how do we actually use this system to our advantage? How do we get that wise planner to design a brand new path and then train the impulsive toddler to take it automatically? Well, that's where this simple 4-step playbook comes in. So here are the 4 steps. First, make the action ridiculously small and specific. Get fit is way too vague. Do 10 squats? That's a tiny, manageable action. Second, give the toddler a really clear signal, a trigger. Third, just repeat it. Consistency is what carves that path in the jungle. And finally, number 4, make it enjoyable. The toddler loves rewards, so pair the new action with something you already like. So, what does a trigger even look like? Well, it can be pretty much anything that acts as a start button. It could be a specific time, like 8 a.m. every morning. It could be a place, like your living room. A visual cue, like laying out your workout clothes the night before. Or you can even tack it onto an existing habit, like doing your 10 squats right after you brush your teeth. The more specific the trigger, the easier it is for the toddler to get the signal. Now, while this whole framework is pretty simple, that doesn't necessarily mean it's easy. It's really important to have realistic expectations about how this process actually works out in the real world. So how long does it actually take for the toddler to take over? Well, the research says it can take anywhere from 15 to 250 days for a new behavior to feel automatic. It really depends on the person, the habit, and even your stress levels. There's no magic number. See, the hard part isn't starting. It's continuing when you really don't feel like it. But it does get easier, I promise. And this right here might be the most important takeaway of all. Don't aim for perfection. Just aim for a little bit better. Seriously, improving your life just a little is so much more valuable than aiming super high, falling short, and then changing nothing at all. Even tiny changes compound into huge results over months and years. Ultimately, there's no silver bullet for this stuff, but understanding how your brain works gives you the right tools. It's a great reminder that change is always possible. So what's one tiny path you can start clearing in your own jungle, starting today?